Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. I'm a Forbes contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. Our guest today is Josh Lannon. He's the CEO and founder of Warrior's Heart. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Devin, for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Well, thank you. Josh, you told me in our pre-interview that you were aware of these 22 suicides that happen among veterans every day, and you wanted to do something about it. So tell us a little bit about what Warrior's Heart is and what you're doing.
Yeah, so Warrior's Heart is a private treatment center for warriors, so dedicated to the healing of warriors. These are our military, our police, our firefighters, our first responders. There's nothing out there in the private sector that is dedicated to the healing of warriors. So with me being a social entrepreneur and being in the behavioral health field, when I found out about it through my friends that are in military, special forces, that sort of thing, I'm like, that number cannot be accurate. And they're like, yeah, it is. It's like we're losing more guys at home than we're losing overseas. And it was true. So once I found out about the problem, my wife she was in law enforcement. It's like, we really got to do something about it. So that's where Warrior's Heart started to form and the vision started to come together.
Now, you partnered with Lisa. Is that your wife that you partnered with, and also with a special forces fellow? I'm forgetting his name, but tell us a little bit about your partners.
Yeah, sure. So Lisa Lannon, my wife, we've been together for 20 years, married for 15, two incredible children. So she's the best partner to have for me. And then we also, through a long relationship, know Tom Spooner, which is a special operations detachment, Delta, retired operator, fantastic human being, and really cares about the cause as well, with Mission 22 and the 22 Veterans a Day. So it made sense to come together, all three of us, and form Warrior's Heart.
Well, tell us a little bit about the program that you've set up there.
Yeah, so it's a private healing environment. So they come in, they would stay here for a minimum of 28 days. They actually live on site. We've purchased a beautiful large ranch in Texas, 543 acres. It is incredible. So there's from the 25-acre lake where they can walk and talk with their counselors, to the counseling rooms, to the recreation rooms. It's a place where you come and you're like, wow, this is really treatment? It's like, yes, you can do this with dignity and respect. You don't have to be in a hospital to heal. So that really starts with that, treating people as human beings and treating them at a different level so we could get to the true core issues.
And what are you treating them for typically?
Yeah, so primary, it's substance abuse. So the self-medication behaviors of alcoholism and prescription drug abuse, and then PTSD. So that's the underlying issues, PTSD or mild traumatic brain injury.
And how does mild traumatic brain injury fit into all of this?
To heal when there's some brain injuries and the neural nets just aren't firing properly in the brain, it's difficult to connect. So we want to make sure from a neurological standpoint that everything is working properly from Eastern philosophy and a Western philosophy together to treat the whole person.
It is an interesting approach that you've taken. It's kind of a holistic approach, isn't it?
Very much so. Yeah, mind, body, spirit. Instead of them, warriors, having to go to one particular specialist and another particular specialist, we've brought them together in that healing environment to treat the whole person.
Now, is the facility open today? I know you are about to open just here in the last week or so. Is it open now?
Yeah, we just acquired the property December 22nd, and we're going through our licensing now, and we're about 3 weeks away.
Okay. So very, very soon, right? But you're already taking calls 24/7.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had our 24-hour call help hotline running for about a year now. And we do take a lot of calls, and we place our warriors in other facilities. And the common thing is, hey, there's nothing like what you're talking about out there. Please hurry up and open. It's like, I know. So we're working the best we can to get it up.
So most of the treatment these days is covered by insurance, right? The insurance covers most mental health issues, right?
That's correct. Very much so. And with the parity laws, it makes it easier to get reimbursement from mental health, treating it the same as a physical ailment.
Now, why can't or shouldn't a warrior just go to the VA for this treatment?
You know, the VA is backlogged. 15 years of war. I mean, they're doing the best they can, but you know, they can only do so much. And when you go into the private sector, in the private field like our facility, we can move faster. There's not a lot of red tape, and we can address the problem again much faster, because there is a necessity and a crisis a lot of times that we have to move with speed.
It is fascinating to see the challenges that especially our veterans are facing. We create the problem by sending them into war, and we haven't done a great job of caring for them when they come home damaged or broken. So how many people will your facility hold when you get up and running?
It's a 40-bed facility, and you're absolutely right. I mean, the government has a big enough job just to take someone and get them ready for war, to, you know, engage in the enemy and possibly kill them. So I understand that they don't focus on them coming home. That's not their job. So it's our job as civilians, as, you know, our community, to develop a process to integrate our warriors back into our communities, and still honoring them for being warriors and protectors.
Yeah, that's really a remarkable model. Well, Josh, I want to take advantage of the opportunity while we're visiting to get some personal insights from you as a social entrepreneur. First, I want to know who you look up to, who you admire, who's your role model?
You know, my role model has been for a number of years a gentleman named Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I found that I had a lot of vision and a lot of ideas, but without financial education, I could not manifest it. And the Rich Dad, that's his company, his mission statement is to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. So that really resonates with me on a social level. And I knew in order for us to have our ideas manifest, we have to understand money and how it works.
That's great. Now, I understand the case that you've made, and you've made a compelling case for serving veterans and first responders, and I wholeheartedly support the model. But what I want to know is, what is your personal connection? What is it that motivates you personally? Why do you feel responsible for addressing this problem and not just allowing someone else to worry about it?
Yeah, it's one of those things when you turn your back on something you're supposed to do, it hurts more than to actually go through the process of building something. And for me, I struggled with drinking and addiction for a number of years. I almost took my own life. I know how dark it can be. I know what a warrior is. And, I married a warrior, my wife, Lisa, being a police officer. And to see what we went through together as a couple for so many years behind closed doors, I just hope that no one else has to go through what we went through. So that's the why, that's the drive, to help other families come back together again.
I hate to take you back in time to that place, but you say you struggled with addiction.
Yeah.
And that's your connection to this, and that's intriguing. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you got to a pretty dark place, it sounds like. What was that like?
It was miserable. I mean, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. But from the outside world, it looked like we had our stuff together. A nice middle-class house, middle-class family. She was a police officer. I ran nightclubs in Las Vegas. So to the outside world, it looked great. But behind closed doors, we were falling apart spiritually, emotionally, financially. And it was difficult in those years, and especially for my wife, because there was a number of times where she didn't know if I'd be the one being arrested and processed, and what would that look like to all of her friends and colleagues. And So there was a lot of secrets, if you will, that, we knew if we're struggling with them, other people had to be struggling with them as well. And sure enough, there are a lot of people out there that face those same demons.
How did you overcome the addiction? What was the support network that you finally found that helped you through that?
Yeah, so shortly after 9/11, I went into a rehab center. So 2001, I went into a program myself and started the healing journey. And at that time, my wife and I said, okay, let's do this together. I get it. I'm the one that's drinking and partying and being a knucklehead. But she also had a lot of pain and a lot of damage as well. So we came together hand in hand in marriage and life and started the healing process. And that's where it forged. We opened a facility called Journey Healing Centers in 2002. It expanded to multiple states, had a team of about 100 people. And it was like we created a career out of sobriety, a career out of social entrepreneurism, which is something I had no idea existed before.
Well, that's remarkable. And so you're able to replicate that model now for the warrior community.
Correct. Yeah, this is our 7th location now. We sold the other ones, took a little time off, but we had the calling, had the passion, and it's like, yep, this is what we're supposed to do.
Oh, that's great. Well, Josh, the last question I want to ask, as one who's been a proven social entrepreneur, we're always looking for what I call an impact hack, some tip that will help us do more good in the world. What's yours?
That's a good question. I would say follow your why is a big one. Why? What gets you up in the morning? What keeps you motivated? Because life's going to have its ups and downs, and it's going to kick us in the teeth. It really can be difficult. But if we connect to our why, and we look back at our past and say, all these things that happened might have happened for a reason, to give me strength today to take on a social problem and to have a social impact for the good of others.
Yeah. Now, I appreciate that great insight. I appreciate that great tip. I appreciate the time you've taken today.
Absolutely.
Before you go, please tell us how people can learn more about Warrior's Heart, how they can connect with you.
Sure. Yeah, on full Facebook, Warrior's Heart, we're on there, as well as our website, warriorsheart.com.
Fantastic. Well, Josh, thank you very much for being with us today, and we wish you every success in reducing that number of daily veteran suicides.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All righty. Let's do some good.